The weather's so much nicer. Yeah, I'm in shorts still. I held out and made my shorts on.
It's just so nice to be warm.
Yeah, this feels so good.
And the times that we walk, going through and through. In that moment I felt that I could go
anywhere with you. So this is the Raycor vacuum gauge. What it does is it measures the restriction level on the fuel supply.
And it is mounted on the
Raycor filter.
Raycor filter. And
so the copper pipes that's coming from the fuel tank into the Raycor, which is the primary filter. And then it goes from the Raycor into the engine. So this gauge measures the amount of restriction on the fuel supply. So if the Raycor filter inside that bowl is jammed up, the needle will move towards the yellow or red, meaning that the filter is dirty and not allowing fuel to flow through as quickly. The problem with this gauge, as you can see, it's facing us right now very conveniently, but when it's tightened down, the vacuum gauge is backwards. It faces the wall. And there's no way, I messed around with the threads. I mean, maybe you guys know, leave a comment, I cannot figure this out. But every time I get it cinched tight, it's facing backwards. So when I was messing around with the filters, I had loosened that so I could see the max reading, and I think I didn't cinch it down. So I think the major problem yesterday was actually air and not fuel.
the problem Bill's referring to is having to be towed into the St. Augustine Inlet, which you saw in our last episode.
It's always something. The mistake I made is when we were entering the inlet, I turned this and loosened the gasket here so I could read the value on the gauge, and I didn't tighten it down enough.
So air got in.
So air got in. So what that did is it introduced air into the system, which started causing the diesel to stall. Right. So now that I added this mirror, I could check the level on the filters without having to spin this, which means I don't introduce any air into my system anymore. And I was so tired yesterday, I think maybe, they say sleep deprivation is equivalent to being drunk, and I had slept like an hour. I think my mind just wasn't working clear.
Though our 300-mile offshore passage to Florida was a fairly pleasant one, Bill didn't get much sleep, a problem he struggles with on shorter 2 to 3 day passages such as this one. We jumped offshore from North Carolina in an effort to make miles quickly, being as it's almost January and we're seeking warmth. The journey was successful and the passage a beautiful one. But when it came time to enter Florida through the St. Augustine Inlet, our engine stalled, and with no wind, we chose to get towed through the notoriously challenging inlet.
Main thing is we don't want, shock loading, so it has to keep a lot of pressure on.
Copy that. He wants drag, eh?
Now we're in fix-it mode, and though we've identified an air leak as the problem, we're going to change both the secondary and pump filters. We did the primary offshore. Which one's that one?
For the electric lift pump.
All right.
Actually goes on.
And add some oil, since it's a tad low.
Why is that captain on?
Before we get back on the road again, continuing our journey south, now through the state of Florida, in search of warmer temperatures.
It's still cold in Florida. I refuse to put on long pants, so if I'm in Florida, so I'm wearing shorts, and I'm freezing.
Yeah, it's pretty cold.
And our heater's not really cooperating right now.
I guess it was like 50, what?
44.
44 in the cabin?
No, 57 now.
57 in the cabin this morning, so I guess that's close to the outside temperature. We're heading out of St. Augustine now. We're waiting for the bridge to open. Yeah, so far the engine's fine. We'll just see. Hopefully we make it to our next destination here, which is just further down the ICW. Bridge number 1. Morning!
Look at all the palm trees we have around us now, which is pretty exciting. We're actually getting south now.
And we're also in manatee territory now, which is very exciting to me. I love looking for wildlife, so my eyes are peeled right now. Just looking around and popping in and out of editing and scanning, and you're keeping a good eye out for manatees too, right, babe?
Yeah. Kind of. We're concerned about not hitting something. We're concerned about staying in the channel. I just saw a sailboat run aground back there, so I don't want to be that guy right now.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. It's getting a little warmer though.
Yeah, it's getting warmer as the day goes on.
It looks like all the boats here are on lifts because there's so much traffic and wakes going by. I guess you can't leave them tied up alongside your house. I was thinking, what if we owned one of these houses and had Calico guys tied up? But I guess you never could. Because they'd just be beat up against the docks. LB Knoxbridge, southbound sailing vessel Calico Skies, over.
We've got several bridges to pass on today's journey. We'll be traveling all day, trying to make as many miles as we can while the weather is beautiful. Florida is quite a long state, at almost 450 miles, so we've got a lot of travel ahead of us. Yep. You're clear.
I'll check the vacuum gauge, I guess, when we get in. See if it's nice at all.
How happy are you to be in Florida?
The weather's so much nicer. I was getting kind of sick of sitting out here in the cold for, I guess I was only doing 5 or 6 hours a day, but...
It's a totally different experience.
Yeah, I'm short still. I held out and made my shorts on. So we're in Daytona Beach, home of the Daytona 500, that race car thing. I also see like a crazy amusement park thing over there, swinging around.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a fun little town. Too bad there's COVID right now. It'd be fun to go get like a mudslide at one of the local bars or something.
I know, celebrate being in Florida.
It's nice to be in Florida. Hopefully it's a little calmer here than St. Augustine. He's not gonna come back.
Holy crap!
I know, it's scared the shit out of
Scared the crap out of me.
That's what happened to me yesterday. It's really scary, right? People, they don't come back. They only do that once.
The dolphin just like jumped up while I was on my way up.
Right here. I know, it scares the crap out of me every time they do that. We're so shallow. I figured give it a whirl. You know me. Nine. So I'm gonna go anchor near that sailboat there, I think, but 6-6. Come on, baby.
In your socks all day.
Yep, my shorts are still on.
I am so happy. I just keep thinking the happiest little thoughts right now. And I think it's really dawning on me that we're in Florida. I don't know why it didn't hit me as hard in St. Augustine. Maybe because it was kind of overcast. I don't know. And I guess because maybe we arrived from offshore. Like, I didn't like see Florida sort of as I was approaching it. I don't know, but I'm so excited. It's just so nice to be warm.
warm.
Yeah, this feels so good. It means we're getting closer to our tropical summer destination, right?
Yeah.
Like, we could bounce to the Bahamas in like a week if we wanted to, which is kind of crazy, you know? Like, we choose to do that for a little bit. Like, if we want to be in the Abacos in 10 days, we could be. It's kind of wild.
That motorboat's called Low Bid.
Where do I want to anchor? So tonight is a Falcon 9 launch. We're about a mile or two from Cape Canaveral. It'd be really cool if it takes off tonight. The launch window is from 8:28 to 12:28. So I'm going to this island facing the Cape Canaveral, facing a little bit north of us, and we hope to see this thing take off. It'd be really cool to see this thing shoot through the sky. I'm excited.
There's big dolphins here.
Yesterday, we traversed an incredibly gorgeous stretch of the ICW.
Wow.
There were a ton of birds in many varieties, and it was a sunny and beautiful day. We dropped the hook in Titusville, Florida, and spent the next day exploring nearby. Tonight, it just happens to be the launch of the Falcon 9 rocket in nearby Cape Canaveral. Bill's having a bonfire with friends for the launch, and I'm hanging out in Calico skies. Both spots offering an incredible view of the launch.
That's the sound barrier right there, right? You hear it? That's pretty crazy. That's cool.
Join us next time when a problem we thought was resolved crops up again.
I actually just stalled out there when my Raycore thing jammed up, just to let you know.
Ooh, look at that!
Is that dirty?
That's disgusting.
It's like algae.
Oh, gross, Bill.
Think that's bad?
Yeah, that's terrible. Look at all the shit in there.
It's not good for your fuel.
Oh, there's a big chunk in the side, too.
Yeah, that's a lot of shit.
Ew. Ooh, what's that in the bottom? It's like pieces of metal. It's like